Welcome, everyone. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas and wishing you, of course, Happy Holidays. We are back for GG Millions. It's episode 34 of season 2023. Special treat, always big time guest, but a very special guest here, Samuel Mullur. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, he is as hot as it gets in poker. He just won the GG Millions in the Bahamas, the 25K. We actually played the same table together. He went on to win the tournament for 2.7 million, and that was the live version last week here on the GG Million. He got second place in this very tournament that we're going to watch at Final Table today. Sam, how are you?
Hey, thanks for having me, Jeff. I'm doing great. I'm a big fan of the stream. I watch all the FTs, and it's an honor to be here.
Well, listen, you've earned it. You are the current #1 player on the leaderboard, as we will see the GG Million ranking. We'll show that here very shortly. As you see, there it is. Samu Sabu in first place by a nice stretch, on top of last week's guest, David Yan. And 26 years old you are. We're going to be talking more about yourself as the commentary gets underway. I want to get to know you better, as those out there are probably seeing your name quite frequently. And again, today playing for that juicy 7-figure prize pool. As always the case here on the GG Million, we see some of the best in the world battling it out. There's a look at the payouts today. Over a $250,000 up top, 289,000. Ninth going to get 39,000, just under 40K we'll call it. And of course, big pay jumps. No deal making possible here, and we are going to see the final 9 battle it out for the title, the glory, and of course a lot of money at stake. So very exciting, and some players I'm sure you have played with. We'll talk about that shortly. Ascend, our friend in the top spot, rocking the Raise Your Edge esports version. Ascend, there's Ben CB in the picture. Thomas Santirn. Tierney, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. You may know some of these players. We'll talk about that in a second. 30 big blinds to 68, so a little bit more compact today. I think last week where you were there, pretty big gaps, some big stacks today, a little more tight from the top to bottom as we dive right into the action. Fellow Austrian Chris Rudolph, repping that flag, very tough player. He's won the GG Million before. I was looking at previous winners, and it doesn't look like there are many. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, only Chris Rudolph has won one time the GG Million, and we're looking at the last 2 seasons, possibly the originals, someone won. But Sam, who are you familiar with here? Who have you battled with regularly? What players do you know?
I actually want to say I've played with everybody besides our Argentinian friend with who finds himself with Quinten suited, like Pure Matini is his name. I think I haven't played with him, but other than that, I think all of the guys are playing a lot of online, and I've battled with, I want to say, all of them. Yeah, I'm especially looking forward to this because I've played with Thomas and also Pocanuctus quite a bit online, and I know that they have like a little bit more aggressive tendencies, I want to say, and them being first and second in chips is something I'm looking forward to.
Very cool. Well, yeah, we're going to see that dynamic play out as quite a hand to start. Aces, King Jack suited, one of those hands that you may want to play and get aggressive with, but doesn't would have been bad timing. Step in with a 4-bet. Good discipline there. And Joseph, I believe, is in there repping a pretty, decent. He's a little shorter compared, but been on the show several times, and great to see him doing well as pocket threes are going to open up. And how often are you playing this? Is this a tournament you play pretty much every week now? And have things changed a lot for you since that $2.7 million score?
I mean, in regards of that tournament, things have changed because I'm kind of forced to play it now because you have to play it 5 times to be eligible for the leaderboard. I haven't played it before that, but other than that tournament, I've played pretty much or played a bunch of the high stakes tournaments online as well. But I haven't played the 10K before that. So yeah, that has changed in a way.
Very, very, very exciting. And what was your biggest score before that $2.7 million score in the 25K in the Bahamas just now?
It was 70K, I think, online.
Wow.
So quite a big gap. Yeah.
And me and you got to play a hand
quite recent.
before the bubble. It was not super close, but I think you opened under the gun. I had queens. I ripped it for like 20 blinds. I think you had tens. How much chips? What were you at? Sort of near the bubble. Were you short? Was that the shortest you got? Did you chip back up, or did you ever get kind of in danger of not even cashing?
I want to say I was kind of short all the way throughout the tournament most of the time, and I started chipping up like final two-ish tables where I had a couple good spots, but other than that, I was always in the sub 30 category and just was very fortunate to stay alive for such a long time. And I I think I want to say I was short for most of it.
Hey, it's how you end up, and you got it done for quite a score. You want to do a little snake draft? We can do a wager for dinner, and the audience is going to get awarded your picks versus mine. Are you up for that? You've seen the show before, right?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm in.
All right, I'll let you choose red or black. We'll start with that, and then again, pretty tight today. Mark Radoja, also a very tough player who has some big results in 2 World Series of Poker bracelets. He's in there. I recognize Michael Joseph, obviously on the show. Chris Rudolph, a regular. You said you're more familiar with some of these other guys, so maybe a little advantage on the ability. And what about the Ben CB logo? Tomas there repping that flag. Are you familiar with him? Do you know him personally?
No, I don't know him personally. I just played a bunch against him online, and so I don't know why why he chose that profile picture, but looks kind of funny. I like it. I want to go with a red flop, by the way.
Red flop. Okay. Well, here we go. Chris getting pressure on. This is one of those very tricky hands, maybe player dependent, but ace queen here. And we see that smaller size 3-bet, which is more common these days. How do you like Chris responding here? A little bit of a tough hand to play post flop ace queen, but also can just be so behind.
I think all options are fine. I think calling is also an option. You still dominate quite a bunch of bluffs of Satubaya. I and also don't go too hard on me if I pronounce any names wrong. Yeah, I think like all options are fine, maybe besides shoving really. I think four betting is okay as a bluff sometimes, and then calling would have been my preferred option, I think. Them being like 30, little over 30 effective.
We're seeing a lot of aggressive kind of lightish 3-bets here. Ace 5 off, ace 9, ace 9, ace king. You know, I'm sorry, ace 9 3-betting multiple times. So players are playing, and again, the stacks are very tight. This is abnormally tight with the stacks. I mean, there's really no super short, and there's no one really emerged as a chip leader dominantly here. So should be pretty interesting today. Who's going to go for it? Who's going to sit back? And we are definitely seeing some world-class players and a few, I would say, more unknowns today. Not quite as many household names at the table, although I do recognize some, and we still have not seen a flop yet. So here we go. You said red, right? And it is
yes,
black.
it's black.
So I will get first or second and third, and I'm going to take I'll take second and third pick. So you can have first pick. That's how I want to select my choice. So
okay.
You go first.
I'm gonna go with Thomas Santerna.
Okay, so you go with the chip leader. Makes sense. I will take Mark Radoja and Chris Rudolph, two of the more, I think, experienced players and pretty healthy in chips as well. So then you get to go alternate all the way through.
I'm indifferent. I think I'm just gonna go Pocanunctus. Yeah.
Okay, going for some chips there. I'm gonna take let's see. I'll take the Argentinian player, a bit unknown, and I think he is, how do we say? Is it Pure? His name Pure?
Yeah.
Latin. I'll take that 1.8 stack.
All right, I go with our Russian friend.
Okay, you got Russia. I'll take Joseph. I'm happy to get him. Been on the show multiple times, and good to see him at the final table. And then I believe, what do we have? 2 more or 1 more? I think there's still 2 more.
It's 1 more, right? You got Mark
this
already?
guy Haya. And
oh yeah, right.
The flag that is, I forget which flag.
Okay, yeah. I think it's Kazakhstan. I don't know how you say it in English, but
yes. Yep.
I'm gonna go with that flag. I'm gonna take Satubayev.
Okay, and then I guess Haya. That is the last one I got. So audience, if one of my players wins, $100. If one of Sam's players wins, 50. And look at this. I mean, look at this hand. We see the Queen Jack with the heart go for a big bet, and it gets all in shoved here, and just with the 10 of heart, a key, I guess, heart blocker to the situation. What do you think of this though? The jack of hearts in his hand over here. I mean, this is a big boy poker play right here.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I was so involved with the draft pick. I didn't follow the action completely, but just from looking at the river, I think it's a nice combo to bluff sometimes if he ends up having it here. So yeah, tough spot now for Haya. He also has a nice card to some good removal. So yeah, I didn't follow the action 100%. Sorry for that, but
Yeah,
I was
I was
trying to
immersed
get
as
the
well.
draft pick right.
Falling a lot. So I mean, man, this is just a savage bluff. I guess he's just, he says, range rise, I'm opening. I'm gonna have more suited combos. I got a key heart in my hand, and also the big blind just gonna have a little more offsuit combos and just not be able to make a call here without really a flush plus. And wow, he had the check. Right, gonna see the bad news. He got bluffed, and that's a nice for your guy who has now merged to 3 million chips and a really well executed bluff there, not afraid to go for it. Very, very strong play there, as we will see a pickup of chips. And again, want to welcome everyone. Thank you for watching. We do have maybe the hottest. Oh, we're going to go right into a mystery hand. So 3-6 off in the big blind. Sam, this is going to be your time to shine, as likely, I guess, we'll probably see a defend. I guess it's going to go open and be a call. And we are going to see a spot here with the 3-6 offsuit. One of the worst hands you could have. Blind on blind. These are always fun. A big part of poker these days. We'll let you take it from here. So go ahead. What do you like?
I think he can ISO this hand sometimes. Being this deep against each other, from my understanding, compared to GPV, you want to ISO a little bit better hands, like whatever suited, offsuit 7, 6s, like just a little bit higher up in the range. Just because you need a little bit more playability post flop, but I think ISOing this sometimes is good. Yeah, ranges are still super wide here. Queen 3 do is still pretty disconnected board. I want to say a better board for the in position player, as he ISOs these offsuit 2x and 3x sometimes, and out of position doesn't have them too often. Yeah. So
Well,
pretty
he
disconnected
gets
board
met
when
with the
we
check
see a check
raise.
raise.
Now you got a little bit of hand. You got the 3 and a 6 with it. And what do you like? Do you like continuing here with the middle pair?
Yeah, I think we have to continue. We still have a couple backdoor outs as well to straight. And the 3 still, as ranges are so wide, still a decent hand. And I think it's fine betting that flop like at a high frequency on the flop. So betting second pair doesn't seem too bad to me.
Not the best card, right? The heart's complete, 4-5 completes. There's an ace out there now, and you get checked too, and your hand sort of shrinks up a bit here, but a lot in the middle. And what do you like if you are pure?
It's interesting. I think we still have some showdown. I would like to see a check back as we do. I think 4-5, to be honest, is not too relevant, as I'm not sure if it defends pre-flop to the ISO. It might, but yeah, the flush gets there, which is not thrilling for the in-position player. Especially, I think like he's gonna check back quite a bunch of suited tens pre. Generally speaking, I think the better ones, and with the ace and the queen out there as a heart, he lacks flushes, I want to say. Generally speaking, so not the best card. I'm curious to see which sizing he's now gonna go for. Oh, checks it back.
Oh, you would like to see a bet on the river with the 3-6 off on that 4 with the 4 hearts?
I think you can. Let me think about it for a second. Maybe not. I don't know. The value thresholds are obviously higher because of the ICM implications. I think the value range of out of position is something like Queen Jack on the flop, maybe Queen Jack plus some sets, obviously like deuces and threes, but I think there's still some queen X in the out of position range that have to call sometimes, and that you can get into a tough spot by betting. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's not completely unreasonable to check back, I guess, sometimes. But I think I would have went for a bet myself.
All right. Well, there's a look into the mind of Sam, who again has had some great results very recently in the live and online streets. Got to see him take second here last week. If you guys have questions in the chat, try to get a few of those as well. Please hit that thumbs up if you are enjoying the show. Going to be the first part of the giveaway at the end will be $50 or $100. I actually have a tweet out now on my Twitter, $50 cash for a giveaway. So that is also live, and then we will be giving away 50 or 100 at the end of the show as usual. So please get the retweet out if you are enjoying the show, and you can just go to actually, let me see if it's pinned. My Twitter, I believe it is. It's definitely there. And yeah, you guys can, there it is. It is pinned. And Mario, how well do you know Mario and this crew? Is with Mario and Fedor, and you've done sort of a poker code. I know there's the Raise Your Edge is also Ben CB. You know, what's sort of your poker? How have you done what you've done? Give us your secrets. How are you winning all the money in poker right now? What is your give us all your tricks, please.
I mean, as most of the people watching probably know, it's just run good, to be honest. I've been playing a lot, and also had my times where I ran bad, but it's honestly just run good. But to touch on Mario, Fedor, and that crew, those are my close friends and the people that I study with, and I'm super fortunate to be in that group and to be able to work with these guys. But yeah, those are my guys, and I'm just running very well lately, and very fortunate in general.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, look, it's obviously luck in preparation. That whole saying about luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I think there's a lot to do with that in general. So it's nice to see the rewards coming in. It's funny how it works, though, right? It can be nothing. You said 70K live score, you play a bunch or you're around, and then all of a sudden just comes in waves. But that's sometimes how it does work. And there's something about momentum, heater, and all that good stuff that definitely is a real thing. As we see top two pair just call in a very intricate card. So 7-10 suit are going to play their hand as a trap, let maybe their opponent catch up. And as it turns out, they caught up in a big way. This is a pretty massive turn card where ace nine off was drawing to, pretty light, and now has some two pair options. Obviously, a diamond would be good as well, and does check back when hits the ace. 7-10 now the best hand. 350 in the middle. Ace nine is saying, I guess they feel moderate about their hand. They're a little concerned, and they should be, as they are behind. Let's see if 7-10 can go for a big size bet. It sort of looks like an ace, maybe, right? Like maybe you check back and slow down. I don't know. I guess some aces would bet here on the turn too, but I think that a big bet here might be in order.
Yeah, I'm also expecting a big bet. There's quite some hands like 8-9, Jack 8, like straight draws that missed, and I think it's also like a good check back from Haya. It's one of the worst offsuit aces I think he's opening with, and also with the diamond he needs less protection. And yeah, I kind of like the check back. I think well played by both.
Yeah, nice hand there. As everything is now moving a bit, we see a bigger big stack and a shorter short stack. Mark Radoja hasn't got involved yet. Very talented player, 2 bracelets, and we see him again here at the final table as Chris is going to open ace queen in the exact same time. Last time he was met from this position with the 3-bet, the ace nine off, he 4-bet took it down. This time just raise and take down, as we don't see a Brazilian flag today. Very rare. We do only see 1 Austrian flag. I think we've seen up to 5 out of the 9 at the final table be Austrian flag bearers, as we see a little more variety today. Everyone, really an international final table here. I don't think we don't have one of the same flags, which is also rare as a widespread. The beautiful game is expanding. How would you say poker? What are you noticing online and live? Would you say the game's in good health? Are you pretty bullish on poker and how it's growing?
Oh yeah, 100%. I was super surprised. Like, I was in the Bahamas and all the games were booming. It felt like, and also that the high stakes had quite some runners. And then you go online and see that Vegas is booming as well, and EPT Prague also had like huge field. So yeah, I would say poker is booming. and excited times are ahead, especially live.
Yeah, it's
What is
amazing that
your
there's multiple
what's
series in Europe, the Bahamas in that area, that region, and then also, the Vegas had the huge series. So everyone, imagine they were spread out. But this is what's going on in poker. There's just so many options right now. There's so many places to play, so many different series. Even the APT over in Asia sort of been revamped with Michael Soiza. And that whole group, they're doing a great job, Victor, and it's cool to see. I mean, it's just great to see poker, just people having options all over the world. As Hayab been getting in some dicey situations, has a nice hand to defend in the big blind, does have a gutter as Ace King flops top two and does not hit the 10 for the cheap price, and likely a little bigger bet here, as although a very dry board with Ace King on Ace King 6-3, you're not really worried about much in this position against a big blind defendant. His sizing sort of indicates that, right? He's not really pricing out, like there's no flush draw, only really gutters, and if the player has an ace, he's drawing dead, right? So, or pretty much dead, unless an ace 3 or ace 6. So yeah, good hand there again for our chip leader. Going to pick up the pot, and Haya getting very short as the blinds are 17,500, 35,000. Let us know where you're watching in the world. And we are very happy to have you here today, as we are joined by the #1 player on the GGMillion ranking. He is actually in first by a lot, and David Yan joined us last week, who's #2. So what does that, is it crazy to you to see your name talked about with these players? I mean, you're young, 26 years old. A couple of years ago, you were probably, what was your average buy-in this time last year? Like what kind of tournaments were you playing?
I would say a little bit. Last year was a little bit over 100, like roughly 120 maybe online. And live I played like everything up to the 10, like the best 10Ks, and then everything less, obviously. But yeah, something like that. And yeah, live is something that I want to spend a lot of energy on in the next couple months, and it's something that I really enjoy. So yeah, that's gonna change in the future. I used to play more online than live, but yeah, I really like playing live myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is great to see the game growing, expanding, and some of these guarantees too. Draft Ganger just won that online WSOP main event too. It was like 28 million prize pool for I think 2.7 million as well. So you guys both had that in common, and the 15 mil guarantee got met in the Bahamas, and then the 25K 10 mil obviously got over 13 million, which is the tournament that you took down. What are your parents and relatives and people saying? Like, can they believe it? I mean, you're home now for Christmas, right? You just kind of go on tour and come back. I mean, what are they saying? I mean, they must not believe it.
Yeah, they can't believe it in a way, but they are very happy to see me being happy, I guess. They know a little bit about the game. They knew like they know how to root for me in all in situations, but don't understand too much. My brother is into it a lot lately, and he's also a fan, if you want to say it like that. He's watching everything and rooting for me, and the support I get from them is helps me a lot. And yeah, they're just very supportive these days. It wasn't always like that, but yeah, now that it works out in a way, they're very happy for me.
We saw Joseph get the aces, and Chris Rudolph has had ace queen offsuit I think 3 times and won all those. Tricky hand to play, as we see ace queen suited in nines. Curious with the ICM here. Ace queen suited may just take a flop. It's a lot of hand. Could definitely play it aggressively, although at the same time, I think you do see the players mix in here and just call. But I mean, this is definitely a very strong hand. What do you think there? Is that a mandatory call, or might you mix in some 3 bets there?
Yeah, I think it's a good hand to call with. I think the value for sure is a little bit higher. I would 3-bet ace king suited, but I think ace queen is a nice hand to call. You still dominate a lot of the opens, and um, don't mind playing post flop out of position, as it plays pretty well over multiple streets. So I like the call. The hand before that you mentioned from Chris Rudolph was quite interesting on Queen 7-7 against like cutoff flat, I think. Um, I'm curious about the flop strategy there, because I expect that out of position gets to check raise a bunch if it continues. But yeah, gonna look into that. Rudolph decided to just call, and I think took it down as he bet on like a jack low runner for a big
Yeah.
sizing on the river.
Yeah, I mean, this is super interesting. Joseph gives rope on the flop. He checks back top set, and this turn card does bring our friend from Kazakhstan the nut flush draw. And what a run out here. Top set of nines and the just brick. I mean, this is literally the cleanest run out you can get, almost textbook. He needed the queen or an ace, as it turned out. The king hit, and S. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but the player from, let's see, it's Sadu Bayev is going to likely dodge losing money chips here. Just call the flop bet and a turn bet, and he is going to think what could have been if a diamond had come, but it turns out that he will get out of the way and does not lose much chips as Joseph hits top set and does end up taking it down 1.2 million for Michael. And yeah, I mean, very, very, very straightforward stuff so far. No one really getting too out of line. There've been a couple light three bets, but the stacks are so tight. Aya is now our short stack. Chris Rudolph going to get a couple of nines on the button. Very playable hand. Pure opening up here. Dennis Sanchez, good to see you. A couple other familiar faces in there. Hello, YT Chat Pro. We see a lot of regulars, also some new faces, names in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, Sam, join us. We appreciate that. I know it's holiday time. Hope you guys had a great Christmas and have a great New Year. Are you getting crazy, Sam, celebrating, or you take it kind of easy, dude? What's your New Year's plans?
For New Year, I probably like I only played the GG Millions 4 times. I'm gonna have to enter it one more time and have to play on New Year's Eve as well. So no big plans for me this year, but yeah, Christmas is something I like to celebrate with my family. It's my favorite holiday, and yeah, we did that. Um, but no big plans for this year's New Year's Eve. You're probably gonna see me playing online.
And how many screens you usually play when you do play online?
Tables, you mean?
Yeah.
Uh, in between, like now that I also play higher, I want to decrease the table count. I want to say like 12 is something that I'm the most comfortable with. And yeah, if depending on tournaments and runs, I have lower table count and very rarely higher table. Like sometimes I also play more tables, but that's only in the early stages of tournaments most of the time. But
Makes
12 is
sense.
my
Yeah.
number.
12's that's a good number. That's a good number. And what's the most you've ever played?
The most, like 1.5 years ago, I had a time where I was playing up to 21 tables.
Wow.
So yeah, I had my times. I learned from it. I think it can make sense sometimes in the early stages, but that's a lot of tables, and I think you actually, I think myself, I underestimated the EV I gave up playing so many tables, and always talked myself into it somehow. But I think it's not good to play too many. I think 21 was too much at that time, and I'm really happy with how I'm handling those things nowadays.
And have you thought about streaming on Twitch or YouTube? Any streaming in your future?
I got this question quite a bit, but to be honest, it's not in my interest at all. I want to say I just love playing cards, and I just want to get as good as possible. And I think streaming would not help me in that sense. So currently, it's not an option for me.
We see jacks to ace 10 off here as a big three bet, out of position though, so I guess not too big, sort of standard. And Pure going to go ahead and make a tough decision. I mean, jacks as played, chip leader putting pressure, have to kind of make a stand, but it's also, I guess, could flat. Very, very interesting spot, putting a lot at risk there. Ultimately, just decided there were going to be some light hands from our chip leader making that three bet. What do you like there with the jacks?
My default would have been call, I think. I think it was 40 effective, right? So I even though Thomas is chip leader and also needs to three bet wider for value, as he also three bets a lot as bluffs, I think Israeli three betting worse and calling off worse against the jam. So I would have tended towards flatting Jack there myself, but Again, Thomas is going to attack that spot quite a bit. You also benefit from just denying equity. I think that's more true out of position, but yeah, my default would have been call. I think it's not unreasonable to jam and just deny the equity from, as Thomas is mostly 3-bet bluffing with at least an overcard. So yeah. So,
Makes sense. I like that. I like that logic. And what about Game of Gold? Did you get to watch all of it, some of it? Thoughts on that?
yeah, I watched all of it, but fell asleep during the finale because I was playing live at the same time and was super tired. And actually spoiled myself on Twitter and haven't finished it because I got tilted a little bit that I just got spoiled. And yeah, so I watched basically all of it besides like the last 35, 40 minutes of the show, which I might do actually, just to be able to say that I watched all of it.
Is would
But I
that be something? Would you be interested to be on a future Game of Gold? Does that, do you think that would bode well? Are you, is that type of game reality slash, I mean, it's poker, a lot of poker. Would that be something you'd like to do, or is that not your cup of tea?
I mean, I think most of the poker players would love to be on the show, myself included. I think it would be amazing and a lot of fun, but I also think it would not be appropriate to have me on the show. I think there's way more interesting characters. There's legends of the game and people that are just better on TV and better, you know what I mean, right? So I think it would not be appropriate to have me on the show at this moment of time, but it would be fun, and obviously I would like to be in the show myself.
Yeah, it's it. Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I think they it got such good feedback. I mean, there's some a lot of people were giving comments. I think overall very net positive. I think there were some things that could even be adjusted or maybe make it bigger, right? More. I think they got to see the feedback that people enjoyed it, and very curious. Hopefully, there will be more seasons to come. But I'd like to get the audience more involved too. You know, have some. Yeah, have like a mix between some of the big names in poker and the legends of the game, but then also get, you know, some different ways people can enter, be a part of it. I think that would be pretty cool. As Ace Queen, the hand that gives so many trouble, has been a powerhouse today, so far undefeated, being a, you know, it's a good hand. It is. I just feel like Ace Queen gets you in some tough spots, and, you know, oftentimes you can really be put into really, really tricky situations. Although, yeah, it's important to play it, play it strong and find out where you're at, because it is one of those hands that is a good bluffing hand, if you will. I mean, I'd say it is a quality hand, but it's also, you know, is that fair to say? Do you think Ace Queen's one of the tougher hands to play in tournaments, in particular, just because you kind of get it, you kind of have to play it, but it's dangerous? Or where do you how what is your interest in Ace Queen? Tell me, how much do you like it, not like it, or middle of the pack? Because I think it's a lot of people. Jacks and Ace Queen are like the problem hands for people.
Um, I get why or where this question comes from. I don't have like a personal feeling towards that hand. I think it helps if you struggle with specific hands to just start thinking more in equities and not your specific hand, like just how your the propositions of your hand, how much equity they have against your opponent's range, and then you get less attached to your actual holding. But I think you can get into tough spots with ace queen, obviously, but it really depends on the situation. I also think there's great spots, like for example in the note where he Pokanunctus just 3-bet and Thomas calls this hand, like it as ace king might most of the time shove pre. He's gonna get called by a lot of hands that are dominated by your holding, and you also get into some good situations post flop here and there. So I don't have any hard feelings against or anything against ace queen, but I can see where it's coming from. I think you can get into tough spots here and there.
Well, a six suited just calls, ends up folding at that board. Not a great board for that hand, and top two flopped for our friend from Kazakhstan. And this is a very bizarre, I will say, this million, even if you say, let's say Haya gets, you know, somehow doesn't make it through, doesn't double on his next all in, there is a super tight stack size distribution right now. So it's, yeah, pretty open today. So who's going to take it? King, queen going to min raise. Joe's off. Wheels spinning. Thinking, does he want to set mine? Does he want to put pressure here? And he is going to call. And ace 6 king queen going to completely whiff, but still Decides to check back, and 3 is still in the lead as the club's complete. No player with the club. A665. Interesting hand here. Neither player loving the board. Joseph going to check, and Chris thinking if it's important, does he want to bet? Does he want to check? And wins the hard way. And now Joseph with 3s. Does not have the best hand. King high makes a king high on the ace, A6-6 board. 3s are counterfeited. And does he want to take a shot at this or surrender? Let's see. Does go for a bet. Interesting. He's saying I have an ace or a 6 that he checked twice the 6. I mean, a little less likely check a 6. I guess he could. And Rudolph, he's a tough guy to bluff. This guy's just a tough cookie, man. I'd be scared bluffing into him, you know. I just feel like he knows what he's doing. He did check it down, and he actually now has gone into the lead for the first time. Wasn't winning pre-flop, wasn't winning the flop, wasn't winning the turn. No bets made, and now there's a bet, and he's actually winning. Let's see what happens. What do you think he's going to do?
It's a very tough spot. I think he's probably tending towards call is my guess. I mean, A6-6 is a board that I don't expect like a lot of bets from in position because he lacks a lot of 6x. And so because of that, like Michael still arrived. Oh, lets it go. But Michael arrives on the river with quite a bunch of hands. And I think, I mean, 3 high and playing the board is one of the worst hands he'll ever have, or is the worst hand he can have. But so I think it's a nice bluff sometimes. I think I'd prefer having a club, but it's I think a good bluff. And Rudolph was in a very tough situation. I think it's I don't know. I think both options are fine. You just have to make it very dependent on what you think. Oh, big cooler situation here.
Wow. And I mean, look, they talk about ICM, right? And you say this, and all right, I'm going to be careful, but ace, king suiteds, kings, queens, these are hands where this is a disaster. This is one of those exact situations. He's basically tied for second, you know, essentially chip leader, right? There's a 3-way stacks that are roughly the same. And now he's in a situation where if he, just going to step right into it. And this, I mean, if you're Thomas, you kind of hate it too, right? Even if he has ace queen or ace king suited or whatever, it's just like you realize he could have aces. He is going to get the good news. He's ahead, a lot at risk, big implications here. Kings to queens, the ace does come, and it is safe to the river. Can he fade to 4.55%? And we will have our first knockout. If so, it's a king, and that is it. Curtains, I believe your player, right? No, it was your player on your player, no? Yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
For yourself, it's not the end of the world. 4.7. What a hand, what a spot. And if he had just called the re-raise, the 3-bet, he could have maybe got away, right? The ace would have come, things would have slowed down. And what are your thoughts on that? Is that too many chips, especially with 1 and 2, or do you just chalk that up to a cooler?
I think I to be honest expected a flat there. Because I think them being first and second in chips, like Thomas is probably gonna flat a lot of hands like jacks and tens. Again, equity denial is important. I think queens are was 50 effective, right? I think I would have liked to see a flat, to be honest, myself, but it's a strong hand. Thomas gonna attack it quite a bit. But again, they are also similar stacks. He's not like by far chip leader and probably not going as wide against Kokanunktus in that spot. So I would have expected a flat and probably probably 4-bet something like kings plus. Maybe kings even shove sometimes to cooler queens and jacks.
Wow.
But
wow, 5s is going to fold there when there's draws, and with only that much more, I guess there was not much in the middle, but good result for Haya. Going to take that down there. Had 12 outs twice, so it was about a flip. Got the extra money, picked it up, and now going to get a good spot here actually for a 10 blind shove, about 10 blinds, and pick it up here. So he's going to make it through. Pretty good result for the short stack, right? A knockout pay jump between two of the big stacks. Now he's got 10 blinds. He's going to be on the button and get to see another orbit here. So hanging around. And we are here. We're going to play to a winner. Those asking, is it 10K buy-in on Sundays, play down to the final table. And then on Tuesday, 1:45 Eastern, we do the final table live with a special guest. That special guest is Sam today. Mullur, if I know I'm not pronouncing it perfectly right, but we know he can play some cards, and we know that he's got his username. What's your username on here? What is it? What's that? Samu Sabu or?
Yeah, it's funny how you pronounce Samu Sabu, because I have a very good friend who also pronounces it that way, and it's close to correct, and it just sounds a little bit more fun than it's actually pronounced. But yeah, that's fine. My name is Samu Sabu on GG. I play as Go for Gunners on some other site. So yeah, those are like the main two screens. And I just recently switched to the real name on GG. So from now on, it's gonna be Samuel Mullur.
Yeah, gotta have the real name. You're leading the leaderboard, the ranking, the GGMillion ranking, #1 spot as ace, queen, and nines. Radoja not gonna love it, but he is gonna call off here. Of course, the price, the extra money, and a flip. Ace, queen, nines. There's an ace. He knocks down the flop. Can he hold to the river on the flip? And we will have potentially lost 2 in a row. No 9, GG all around. Golfer claps, Elky claps. And other than the thumbs down from the player who got eliminated, we are again down to 7. So a couple knockouts. Radoja, I mentioned it. I lost a bracelet to Radoja. Heads up. We played heads up for a World Series of Poker bracelet back in 2011. So I always one of those things where great player, very nice guy. Just always think of that whenever I see him. But we had a good battle. And I'm still waiting for my bracelet, man. It's I figured it'd come, and then you never know. You never know when you're going to get a chance again. There are a lot of bracelets now. The Bahamas, some good opportunities. That was fun. You have a bracelet. I was going to say, do you have one? But yes, it was the 25K was the bracelet event there in the Bahamas. So that was your first, right? You said that your 70K was your biggest score before live.
Yeah, awesome. That 70K score came from online. I have the live tournaments I played were very small compared to what I just recently played. But yeah, it's my first bracelet, and I also, you don't expect it to, like, you never expect it to happen, right? There's very little expectations in general in this beautiful game, but yeah, very fortunate that it came that early in my journey.
Yeah, it is nice. That's nice to tick that off the list early. It takes away, it's nice to get. There is a bracelet event in a lot of different places, also online now, of course, on here in GGPoker. WSOP, you can win bracelets different times of the year. They do that. Yeah, exactly. Got to get it. I will say I was, it's not far to go from Miami to the Bahamas, but I was definitely, I'm looking for one. I love the game, and it is something I do want to get. Now I have 2 little kids, so a little less playing these days. But it comes, as you know, the heater comes and out of nowhere. It can happen fast, so you just don't know when it's gonna come. Where is your next live stop? What's your plans coming up?
To be honest, I traveled a lot lately, and I'm very happy to be back home. And I'm also gonna, I'm with my family right now, but I'm gonna head back home in a couple of days. And I'm just looking forward to get back into the lab, get back into my routines, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not gonna play too much live for the next 2 months-ish, I want to say. Probably come in late for EPT Paris at some point for the second week of it, something like that. And yeah, then we'll see how I feel for the remaining higher stakes tournaments that are coming up in the following months. So yeah, I'll see how the preparation goes, how I feel, how the people that I work with perceive me, and decide from there, basically.
Very nice. Yeah, it's good to have options. Says the very small bet, 10% pot gets paid off. Pure does hit the river 6, and the flush goes ahead and bets something. Kind of figure the player doesn't have an ace, so makes nice bet to try to get called by something, and did get called, as Pure not going to have to steam long. Gets to open up a very quality queens, although we did see queens get coolered before. That was 9-handed. This is 7-handed. Ranges change a lot. Poker to see you, man. Happy holidays to everyone. And yeah, actually says, miss watching the vlogs. I did do a couple of vlogs in the Bahamas. I meant to get you, Sam. I couldn't find you after you had won. And then I think we were playing actually in something else in the main. And then it kind of, you broke away there. But you're, where can people follow you on socials? You have used Twitter and Instagram at all, or where are you most active?
I use both, but I am not really active myself. I'm more of a like I check Instagram like once or twice a day, and Twitter similar. But so yeah, I see everything basically, but I don't post myself too much. But you can follow or find me on Instagram as under my real name, and on Twitter I want to say Thamu Sabu with a 9. So yeah, those two I both use, but I'm not too active myself.
Yeah, it's you're mentioning you're focused on getting good at poker. It's hard, right? To do content, study, have time with family, friends, and do everything. So it sounds like you've crossed over into the elite level, and you're hitting the scores and getting the results. So it's fun. You should focus on that, and content and Twitch and all that is fun, but you're well aware it takes a lot of time and effort and energy, and you think that weighing it out, that might not be your best use of time. As we're going to see a bit of a potential collision, as you had spoke, the ranges are wide, blind on blind, and to have the nut flush draw versus the second nut flush draw is a potential problem for Radoja here if a spade were to arrive. And
Yeah, I think King High is still a hand that has quite some showdown and doesn't necessarily need to raise, so I think we're not gonna see anything but a call on the flop, and most likely on the turn as well.
And no spade, ace high, still good. As you mentioned, showdown value, going to happily check that back and have a winner.
It's a nice bet on the flop by our Argentinian friend. This hand gets called by so many worse hands with the spade, and can potentially cooler some pairs in the future. So yeah, nice spot, and maybe even like no, just a good bet.
All right, well, Joseph is going to go ahead and attack the chip leader. I like this strategy, right? The guy to open, you realize that he's going to be the most wide, and also in this spot, just kind of thinking that his opponent might be light. He does have the best hand and does pick it up. Ace jack off. Nice pot there. I mean, not a rocket science hand, but important to take those spots, and he does take that, pick it up, and well done there. As Radoja going to pass 7-10 suited. All right, no resistance. Chris Rudolph going to pick that up, and again, looking at the hand distributions, hard to get pairs, hard to get good hands. That's why even the Queen's King's such a big cooler here. No one really with anything. 2 10s in the small blind, a real hand. Let's see if he's gonna. Oh, he's gonna attack. No overcard even for the big blind, but see if he goes with the limp strategy, or likely gonna be raising to protect his hand. Maybe get some action from worse. It does go for the 3x. Good end there. Picks it up. Kazakhstan. That is a country I've never been to. I don't know much about. Have you ever been to there, to that area? Do you know anyone from Kazakhstan? I don't think I've ever met anyone from Kazakhstan.
No, me neither. I mean, I think I played soccer with, or football we say, but soccer with a guy from there, but I'm not 100%. It might have been like a neighbor country of Kazakhstan, but I also know no person from there, and also not too many poker players, to be honest.
Yep. Deuce 5, ace king. Both players gonna hit a piece of the board. Deuce 5 suited does have a couple back doors, and he is gonna go and choose violence. The check raise here. A little bit cheeky. I mean, ace king with the ace of heart, though, not going anywhere. And a queen on the turn. Ace king still in the lead. Got to be a little worried, though, as he is in second position versus our chip leader, and he has one pair, strong pair, top kicker. Got to be a little concerned what he's getting check raised with, though. So he does give him the free card. So interesting spot here when checked back to deuce 5, certainly realizing doesn't have the best hand. Could figure out maybe it's against ace jack, ace king, and gonna go for a large bet. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting flop check raise. I haven't studied too much ICM post flop myself, to be honest. It's something that I currently try to look into more. And I also don't know how many 5x you want to check raise there, especially having the backdoors. But yeah, very interesting. I think on the river as played, your hand is probably a bluff. On the queen, a lot of the other bluffs improve. You're pretty far down in your range, generally speaking. So I think it's a good bluff on the river, but I'm very curious about the flop strategy. And
Well, that is going to narrow the gap between first and second. Sort of huge jump between those two stacks as Jack 9 suited going to go to work, and Queen's a real hand here, and things tightened up a bit between the two. Let's see now with that aggressive bet on the river. Let's see if he's going to come out and 3-bet the Queen's. Got to imagine so. It does go for a large 3-bet. And Pure thinking, can he parlay that pot? But be a lot to defend, to be peeling. Don't think that's a option with that sizing in this particular case. But hey, seen crazier, seen different schools of thought. Although he does give it up there for that size. Yeah, that would be a bit too out of line. And we will still see the chip lead remain with. Trying to believe we're rocking. What's that? The Romania flag? Is that right? Or is that? Oh,
I think so, yeah.
in there, Thomas Santern. Queen Jack off for Chris. Going to open Queen 10 suited. Very pretty hand on the button. Does he want to 3-bet or flat? Does flat. And collision possible. Top pair Queen kicker and open-ended with an over, although the over is no good. Going to get checked to here. Checks back quite a card. Makes the straight. But Chris going to be a little worried, right? King X, diamonds, 10 suited. Those combos. Losing to all of those things. Does go for a big bet here.
Already interesting for Chris, but I think the hand probably just has to call. But generally speaking, I think you prefer having a diamond because the value, like the betting range that you're up against, is very polarized. And yeah, but he can still improve against some 2 pairs with his straight outs. But yeah, very close situation, I want to say, in general, with a lot of holdings on the turn against this bet sizing.
Yeah, does peel down, does want to get to showdown there. Thought about seeing if he was good, didn't get to go, and we are still 7-handed. You can see the pay jumps, payouts lower left. Winner going to get 289, and 5th place on going to get 6 figures. No real short stacks right now. I mean, blinds did go up. Chris is actually our shortest stack with 800,000 at 50K big blind. And Pure is gonna get another nice hand. These guys are tangoing right now. I mean, that's partly because Thomas is so active. Also, Pure has woken up with some nice hands, and Jack's just call. And you know, you run bit of a risk when you do that. You play it coy, you also pot control, but then you do get out flop sometimes, and this is the case here. And not an amazing flop for jacks, the 2 overs, but he's going to check here.
I think it's a good play by Pure, realizing that he has a lot of risk premium against Thomas in that spot and doesn't want to necessarily blow the pot and just play jacks as a call. I really like it.
Yeah, so blocks ace jack, has 2 jacks, realizing may lose to the queen X though, right? That's like a hand that the guy would have probably bet his air, probably has some showdown. So he's going to go for a small bet on the river here to block, and could get called by ace 10 or some other hands that may be worse, and also a hand like doesn't have to face a value bet, but interesting spot. Does just call, not the best hand, loses that pot. 65K, your next payout in 7th, all the way up top to 289. Lot to play for today. Hope you're enjoying. Again, we have the GG Million ranking leader here. Sam is in the house, fresh off his second last week in this tournament and winning 2.7 million in the Bahamas in the 10 mil guaranteed 25K. 25K. When did that money start getting real? Because when was it like, all right, you make the money, it's exciting, it's a 25K. Did you win a package? Did you sell some action? Like what made you play and get in that specific tournament? Because that is a big tournament.
Yeah, I obviously sold some action, but I haven't won a satellite. I just felt like it's a good tournament that I want to play. And yeah, so I was already there, and I'm, as I said, looking or trying to get better and more comfortable in the higher stakes life, and I felt like that's a good opportunity to do just that. And yeah, so I want to touch on the leaderboard real quick. Because my competitive spirit is hurt in a way a little bit, because it's the way this leaderboard was built out, or the person basically who wins this one tournament winning the leaderboard, I think is not optimal for the future if GG is trying to improve there. I think you could potentially, as the buy-in is bigger, maybe let that count like half or something like that. Because these guys like battle it out for the entire year and are going against each other in the toughest possible online field. And yeah, that's just something that is on my mind and I wanted to touch on. But I'm obviously not gonna complain about my situation right now.
Yeah, well, no, it's good. I think they realize that. I think they're trying to tweak it and make it where it's like lucrative, exciting, but also fair. And I think they're getting that situated. And I think the new season's going to be coming up too, so that'll get adjusted. But yeah, you may be benefiting from that in the moment.
Yeah.
As 8 and king 4 going to fold. 8's nice hand for the chip leader, small blind, big blind. As we will keep going, we're going to play to a winner here. We have got a lot of poker left, and now things are sort of separating. The big stacks versus the smaller stacks. 2 3s on the puck. Going to open it up, take it down. Chris Rudolph, I mean, he is a guy that he's had some huge results too. He's just been a staple. I feel like he really blew up over COVID. I just saw him a lot in the higher stakes, having consistent results. How well do you know Chris?
I think I've talked like in person very little to him. I see him at all the live stops, and he always has a smile on his face. He looks like a really nice guy and looks like a fun guy as well. I know he's the beast online and in general, so I have very big respect for him. And yeah, I also know he's like also staking a lot of people, and he's just one of the bigger names in the whole industry. So a lot of respect for him, but don't know him too well personally.
Right.
And I also know that he's trying a lot of new things, generally speaking, in like his guys were or started to limp and 3.5x and stuff like that. So I really like when people are trying new things, are getting creative, are being aggressive in general. And I think he's one of these guys which I really appreciate.
Wow, the ace high. I mean, goes for the. This is kind of one of those spots where, like, I know, like, how could you ever have anything? What are you going to check raise with tens? And I guess, like, it's kind of crazy, right? And then at the same time, if the guy had a 10, he'd probably just call here. And wow, this is all right. This is a candidate for hand of the day, for sure, hand of the day, maybe of the GGMillion. This is not a board that you really see this type of aggression on, where both players would maybe play a coy with the other hand. I mean, this is sort of a throwback to like 2008 or 6 or something, with the raise, re-raise, clicking around in there. Mark gonna let everyone know no one had a 10. That's for sure, as that is verified. Very interesting hand there. Pure got a little crazy. Did have the best hand though, after all. So interesting spot. Takes it down. Click wars. Yeah. Is that
Very
part of
interesting.
your poker program there, or no?
Yeah, I think you need to be very range aware, like knowing what your best value hands, the best pairs you have in your range to be able to realize which hands you want to three bet, no, four bet on the flop, as out of position. So I think it's hard. Like, yeah, I think you need to be very range aware in that situation, and it's something that uh a lot of play. I mean, in this tournament they are, but in general, it's an underbluffed spot. I want to say, especially after you face the raise from in position again, and having a hand that can still improve, like at in position, is probably raising more of the pairs that need a little bit more protection on the flop, and um, not sure about aces, for example. Um, I think it's nice having an overcard to that, so being able to improve versus the value range of in position, and also making some better hands fold on the flop. Maybe if like stronger ace X sometimes raise the flop for value, you might get that hand to fold. So yeah, I think this hand could make it in there sometimes, but very, very nice hand, and also gonna have a look into that.
Yeah, cool hand. Very cool hand. We will see again a winner today. We'll see likely a new winner, although Chris Rudolph has won the GGMillion before.
Pair against the top pair.
They're saying Moldova flag. Trying to look at that. Let me take a look. That's right. There's a couple flags that look. I think it is a Moldova flag. No, I'm not sure because no, actually, maybe it's not because they have.
Oh, we see a big pot brewing.
Wow. Jack 9, Jack Queen, man. Joseph got him right where he wants him. Been quiet, the player from Russia. They are going to get it in. And Jack Queen, I guess, with that sizing, I mean, is he committed here? He's got sort of a modest hand to put all the money in here. I mean, he's sort of. He said he misclicked. Well, is that what it says? Fuck. He said F, I misclicked. I think so. I think he said misclicked. And now maybe he's got a bit of a decision. And there's a lot of money at stake here. This is kind of crazy if he misclicked and then decides to either, yeah, maybe go for it. Well, he does put it in. Jack 9 miles ahead, 78%, some backdoors. Oh my god. Whoa. Hits the queen right away. And then he is going to be the massive favorite after that. And a jack. Wow. What an absolute insane run out to make boat over boat. Jack 9 in a world of power there, and just gets absolutely effed, and that is Joseph, who's been on the show multiple times, the guest on the GGMillion, gets it in a great spot, and that is, I feel for him on that one. That is absolutely brutal. He would have been in a great position, and he was a big favorite to do so. Pretty brutal there. I guess misclicked on the flop, the size. I didn't see the exact bet size, but yeah, and I believe it is the flag of Moldova. Now that I'm looking at it again, I think it is right. That is that flag, but interesting. That was a nasty hand. I mean, that is, and then to run out the boat. Super brutal, super unlucky, but hey, that's part of it, right? Like you said, you got to run well, you got to play well, and you got to do your best, and that is absolutely bad news for Joseph, as our friend from Russia now with 2.8 million, sitting very healthy in third place, and Chris and Radoja is pretty short. 3 sort of short stacks, 3 sort of big stacks, 6 left. We'll queue up that giveaway in a little bit. And we are going to play to a winner. This is making some notes, some very interesting hand say. Thank you, everyone tuning in today. Can't believe it. Chat outraged by that. That was very sick, but it's really a 2 separate race game here. There's 2 sets of big stacks, 2 sets of shorter stacks, and chip leader still going to be opening wide. And Chris going to jam. And look at this. Jacks in the big blind. I mean, what a wake up, but I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of hand to fold. I think you have to just sort of look at it like the chip leader is really out of line, going to be wide. He does call it off. Jacks to ace 9. Chris Rudolph is behind. He made the correct shove versus the range of the big stack opening, and he ran into it. And now on the river, this is bad news for Chris. He is going to need a miracle river, and that is not going to be it. He needed a non-ace club on the river. That starts getting specific. When you say non-ace, non-club of 1 suit, not going to be the case. Chris still in, but super short. And that is King 5 suited, slight lead, going to pair the king. Needs a gut shot now. There it is. No waiting. Chris Rudolph, ladies and gentlemen, not going to wait. Going to hit it. Going to be in the mix still, as we are still 6-handed. And mystery hand, Sam, your time to shine. Ace 9, small blind. Small blind, big blind, fun. Is that what we're going to get to see again, or maybe an open? Okay, yeah. Small blind, big blind. 2 big stacks. Talk us through it, Sam.
All right. I think that's a spot where the small blind is not gonna have any raises, I would imagine, and just plays call in the first place. And yeah, ace 9 also falls into that, obviously. And Thomas is gonna ISO quite a bit, ranges pre-flop and on the flop in an ISO pot, still super wide. I think ace 9 with the suits, with both suits, and in general ace 9 just has an easy decision and has to call on the flop. Turn is quite interesting. Still pretty good suits to potentially bluff rivers, but ace 9 again, just a hand that has showdown. Would block some bluffs on the turn if he faced aggression. Yeah, so having a 10, a 9, a jack is probably not the best on the turn. I'd say a jack and a 10, even a little bit worse. But yeah, this hand still just has enough showdown value. And I kind of surprised by this bet, to be honest. But I think it would have been a nice hand to potentially turn into a bluff facing a bet. But it's still a pretty good hand in that situation. And Thomas is going to have some give ups on the turn as well, with realizing that his range is just super wide. So yeah, I didn't expect that bet, but yeah.
Well, the wheels are spinning here, thinking we don't know what Thomas has. He is deep in the tank.
If he faces a raise here, small one.
Yeah, this is pretty sick hand. I mean, the fact that, yeah, this tank, we don't know. Maybe he's even thinking of raising. And the thing is, though, he's got the ace of spade. There's a lot out there. Let's see if he is going to partake. And as you mentioned, if somehow he does raise, though, if he small raise, then re-jam would be pretty aggressive. But hey, he does get called 4 deuce with the heart. He has missed hearts, and he still calls with just a 4. That is quite a call right there. Pretty yeah. Wild hand.
Also interesting on the river in terms of the sizing that out of position chose. Because this hand might be a hand that like I think pre-flop something like offsuit 8 is probably the bottom of the limp calling range from out of position, meaning you still have some 8x in your range that you might want to go for a block bet with against some ace highs. And this hand might have fit into that category to be able to three bet if you face a raise to still turn your hand into a bluff having that ace of spades. So yeah, really interesting sizing choice by our Russian friend. And we have another all-in situation. Maybe you take it away.
And it's sixes to ace queen, and Chris going to get the extra money from Pure's min raise. So he gets a phenomenal price, and he does win. And he is back in from 70,000. He had one big blind, and now he's got 11, 12, 13 almost, 600 plus 180 at 13 big. So Chris, gotta take him seriously. Gotta try to close him out when you can. Of course, you know, that's what everyone's doing, but he did find a way back in, and he is not going to roll over just yet. We're still six-handed. Six-handed action. Thank you for joining. Got about 1,000 watching right now, and hoping everyone had a great holiday and is enjoying this week. Fun time. It is a fun time of the year, right? Little family time, relaxation. Take it easy. Is it cold over there, or what's the weather like?
It's freezing. I mean, I was, as you as well, was in the Bahamas before that. In Vegas, it was super warm, and I think it's like 3 degrees Celsius right now. And to what I've been used to over the last couple of weeks and months, it's freezing. But for Austrian, how do you say it? For an Austrian average, it's not too cold right now. So it's 3 degrees Celsius. To me, it's freezing.
Yeah, it's cool. I grew up in Michigan. That qualifies for sure. Queen six off, going to go ahead and open up. Pretty interesting here. Queen six off. These are tricky hands. Does pick it up. Maybe a little bit of an exploit there, but he's going to open queen six, and he did have the best hand. Does pick it up. 800,000 stack now. What do you think of that queen six hand? Small blind, big blind.
I think it's interesting. I think it's a spot where he's not gonna have limps anymore, and I also think you want to have some races in your range with the hands. I mean, obviously the top of your range, and then hands that are that are a pip too weak to jam. So one pip underneath the hands that you would like to jam. So queen six might actually be a very nice hand to do that with. So I think well played by Chris, and maybe not even too big of an exploit, to be honest.
Yeah, here's another pretty hand. Queen jack suited, but facing a raise. Does call. Kind of hands you might see in the small blind, the suited broadways, low mid pairs, trying to get in for cheap, and he does out flop jacks. Queen does pair. And picks it up. No wasting time. Jacks get out of the way after being out flop. A lot of queens getting handed around. We've seen some big pairs. Aces were early, didn't really get action with the aces, but now queens again on the button here. Nice hand to wake up with. Not much action behind, although Radoja closing the action. Risk premium. Him and Chris the shortest, so does decide to get out of the way there. Doesn't defend. No call there. Are you surprised by that, or is that sort of standard just based on what's going on and with other stacks? Do you think closing the action for a min raise with the 8-4 suited?
Yeah, if you want to fold some offsuit hands, I think you start folding some suited hands. Start folding the weakest ones that are still dominated by the worst hands of the pre-flop racer. But I think being this short, this hand would have, or I think it's a profitable call, to say it that way. But I think you might be able to fold like some really weak suited hands, like an 8 deuce, 9 deuce types suited that is still dominated by a couple opens, and I'd rather call a hand like 5-3, for example, over a hand like 9 deuce suited.
Yep, queen 9 suited. Wheels were spinning there. I think he thought about 3 betting. all options available. He does just call. He's dominated in the suit. The ace now flops. And let's see if we'll go for a bet or even just check and all down maybe. See if Thomas does go ahead. He's got the backdoor galore. Going to go ahead and bet. The backdoor clubs would be no good. Top pair with also backdoor straights and flushes certainly going to continue for that size. And a deuce of diamonds, ace five as a check mark on the hand. Let's see if Thomas will take the foot off the gas as he had a no equity turn. You know, some cards he may go to town on and just start blasting. Here though, see if he shows some patience or if he's going to really put pressure on. Does slow down. Ace five makes two pair. 8-9 suited would make a straight, but not too many combos of that. Ace five though, thinking what his opponent could have. What can he do here? And let's see if he goes for a small bet or what he thinks about the situation. Does go for a bet.
Let's see if Thomas does something here.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas is a guy, the way he plays, you just kind of got to be on your toes. You don't know. He could just spring, could do something crazy. We saw him do it with the deuce five suited. So he's, you know, one thing about that is you do kind of put fear into people and you show you're a little crazy. You kind of make people start worrying or start wondering about how they're going to bet or, you know, value betting too thin and such. So let's see how it works out for him currently in the lead, 4.5 million, as there is still 6 remaining. Holds the king 6 off. Radoja ace 8 decides to pass. He's got an awkward stack size. Do you know Ben CB?
Not personally, no. I once reached out to him because of something stupid, but never, I don't know him, never met him, but seems to be a nice guy. I think he does a lot of good stuff for the community, and I think he's a good person. I don't know him though, to answer your question.
Yeah, he's gonna be a guest coming up here. He's definitely one of the pillars in poker and great player. Does streaming. Also Raise Your Edge. I know that part of like the sort of he originally with Fedor, and you know he knows Stefan Sontheimer and those guys very well too. Obviously Poker Code and Raise Your Edge, two of the more known and established poker courses. A lot of good courses nowadays available. As we see 9-5 and Jack 5, neither player with a pair. Both players with a gut shot. Jack high is the best hand. Radoja, who's been quiet, could he find a way? Kind of getting thin, right? To be too experimental there. Make a raise or get cute. Like just sort of have to relinquish there to the chip leader. He's down to 650K. Rudolph goes for an open. King Jack off. Thomas with the taxi cab. King 10 off. Does fold. Thought about getting involved. 5 deuce, not a very nice hand to combat with here. We'll get out of the way.
That
Chris?
last hand was very interesting because it's so hard to defend your range there on the turn against a big bet because it's a king eye board and there's very little to close to no ace-x in both players' ranges, and you have to call some hands that are just have undercards to a king and could still be the best hands, and not sure what you're supposed to do there with your straight draws, still being able to improve, especially having the 9 as well, improving to the better straight. So yeah, very interesting and tough situation for Mark in that spot.
All right, 7-3 suit in the big blind. Ace King, a real hand. And Chris with a pair, 5, small blind though, doesn't even think about it. He sees the short stacker with Doja. A little surprised he didn't consider, but I guess really not much to do there. Although the big stack has been opening so wide, could maybe think about getting aggressive now. 9-10 suited. Mark Radoja with the ace-10 6-handed with a likely going to be open here. Let's see if he is going to go for a all in. I mean, obviously it's more fun to have ace king, ace queen, you know, 10s plus, but that's not always an option. And here we see if he were to take the spot, he'd be in a fantastic position, likely not get called even for his 10. I guess it's like what, 9 blinds? 9-10 suited, very pretty hand, but not a hand to really want to call off with. Let's see if he will go for it. He passes. Woo. Close, very close. What do you think there with the chip leader? I mean, there's still 4 players behind you as well.
I agree that I think it's close, but I think ace-10 just, I would have thought it's probably the bottom hand that you want to jam there. Again, Thomas, super wide range, and you're clearly the shortest stack, so I would have expected a jam, but decides not to take it. And yeah, ace-9 feels like close, and I would have probably skipped on that one, but I think ace-10 makes it in there. And Thomas also like probably, I mean, he has to call some worse hands, some hands like king queen suited, like worse ace-x, ace-9, ace-8. So yeah, I would have expected the jam.
Well, Jack 9 getting a good price, but in the big blind here, a tricky spot as he does call. And now everyone with a little something. Bottom pair, gut shot, backdoor, king high flush draw, top pair, weak kicker, 3-way, 471 in the middle, and a lead out. Here we go. Little lead, little spice. That's a little spice.
That's interesting. That's the second time we see it from our Russian guy here. I did not expect it on that board. I think in the spot before it was like queen 9 low, where against hijack, I think, where he doesn't have offsuit 9s. He's the bottom of the small blind threading range, where like probably something like offsuit Broadway, queen x jack x type hand. So I was surprised to see the lead on the other flop, but I felt like it's the board where it could actually be a thing, how people like to say. Here I did not expect it too much leading happening in theory, but could pretty like could be an exploit to where he thinks the response versus that play is rather passive and honest. He feels like his hand just wants to realize equity, but yeah, check folds the turn, and Satubayev takes it down.
Yeah, Pure has been showing us some aggression. He's also passed some kind of close spots of even opening here. King Jack off. He is going to open. Ace Queen on the button. A pretty nice holding, 6-handed, and he will just call. Mark going to get out of the way, and an exciting flop. Both players like interest in the flop. Top pair, top kicker versus over pair gut shot. No diamond for anyone. 2 diamond flop. And a king jack going to come out swinging. And options here for short playing, just calls. Pretty clean turn card. Deuce, nothing changes. No straight, no flush yet. Possible top pair, top kicker. You got to feel good. Of course, you're worried about a few hands, but it's check 2 now. Gotta believe, gonna want to believe you have the best hand. Very wet board. Checks back. Has the queen of heart as well. Backdoor hearts you'd expect maybe Pure to be firing on. And as turns out, I mean, pretty high up in the range now. Ace queen feels very good. Let's see if Pierre takes a stab now. Can't really think he can win, right? It's got got the king jack. I mean, I guess he beat what, jack 10 suited, but
It's very interesting because the flop betting range from out of position is probably polarized, also for that half pot sizing. And the value range probably is something like king queen plus, I want to say. And that's why also I don't want to pronounce his name. That's why I always say the Russian guy, but that's why I decided to check back the river. If your value range is something like strong queen X and kings, I guess you might be able to see like bluffs for smaller sizing on the river against those queen X hands. If you have a hand like pocket kings, you still want to bet that hand. So
yeah.
yeah, I also think it's a reasonable give up sometimes, but yeah, very interesting.
So ace 4 suited will open. Ace 7 suited gonna just call. Pure does not call with the 8-9 off. Some we're seeing a little more tighter ranges, multi-way out of the big blind to complete. And what a flop, man. Sam, can't draw this one up. Nut flush draw, top pair versus top 2 pair. And we should see some chips here in the middle. It's hard to be in this bad a shape with the ace 4 of clubs, right? I mean, your opponent really has to have a set or the ace 7, ace 6 to be this bad behind. I mean, he has the nut flush draw, but that's all working for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Needs a jack to chop, a club to win, and ace 7 loves this board. Ace 6 7 doesn't block unblocks the flush draw, has top 2 on the flop. I mean, he's going to probably go pretty big here, knowing his opponent likely has like ace queen, ace king, ace X. You know, could have the flush draw, right? King queen, king jack of clubs, something like that. He does put the tax out, and if you're the Russian here, you are not liking this all of a sudden, the sizing.
Yeah, you're not loving it, but I mean, your hand just still purely calls. I think you don't make too many better hands fold. Don't need to turn this into a bluff. You're up against a polarized range, so I think we're just gonna see a call here close to always, and does not get there, unfortunately. Yeah, Thomas still beats like all the ace X in out of position range. I'm sure there's gonna be ace jack in this range too, but I still think we're gonna see the all in close to always.
Does go for the all in, and I mean, if you're, yeah, this, you can't love this. I mean, yeah, you're beating. You have the clubs too, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice hand to call sometimes because clubs probably are not supposed to bluff too often. As in position, he still has hands like 10-9, 8-9, king 10, like hands that turned equity or had equity on future streets. So I think ace 4 of clubs unblocking all these bluffs is a hand that might be able to call sometimes, but yeah.
Doesn't think too long, gives it up. We see a mystery hand here, and I think this is a super mystery hand because we have all the cards covered. That is not normal. We usually get to see one player's card, so we'll play both down, which is interesting as well. I don't think we've done it this way, so I think this could be a error. But either way, let's see what happens. We don't see either card, so it's hard to make too much analysis on what's going on. But we do see Chris or Rudolph go for a check call. King 10-7 monotone, turn jack. Important pots, check back. Queen is a straight. Diamonds are a flush. 118 to 1. That's the odds to flop a flush. Not easy to do. But now, oh, there we go. All right, King 10. There's the hand. So Chris checks it down, and Thomas, let's see what Thomas does and see the sizing. I guess he's going to, okay, goes for all of it. Is there much to think about here? I mean, wow. Just folds, and he did. There's something to think about because he had 10-9 high. Or 10-9 with just a pair, and King 10 was good, but we didn't get much analysis there as that was quick and then at the end, but Chris does fold. Ripped it in. Radoja with the ace-8 off. A little different spot this time, shorter. Does play this time. Last time I think he had 15 blinds or so folded in a similar spot with the ace-8 off. This time he does sail it in. Shorter. Blinds did go up. 35K, 70K. He's less than 10 blinds. And Pure played himself a pretty nice final table so far. 6 left. Second place with 2.7. First 6.1. Chip leader start, chip leader to reign over right now. I mean, I think he's played a pretty nice brand today, Thomas. Chris with the non-all-in 3-bet. The weak ace. Take it down. Take it down. Chris, man, he really does. He finds ways to stick in it, to put pressure on, to keep himself in the game. Was down to 1 big blind with, I believe, 7 left, 6 left, maybe 6, right? No one else has gone out since then, but fought his way back in, and now Mark is the short stack, and Queen 6 going to go ahead and surf it in. Mark shows, hey, doesn't take much to call, but I'm not going to call with that. King Deuce in the big blind for the Argentine. He is considering just folds. Okay. What are your thoughts? That deep, King Deuce.
I think it's a good foldy. Like I'm also a little bit too tight, as I recently realized in that spots whenever you are still pretty deep against the chip leader, but still are second in chips. And I mean, you have super high risk premium, but also the big stack is usually not going to go too crazy against you whenever you're at similar stacks. But here he's like chip leader by far, is going to pressure you a lot. Post this hand has bad equity realization, so I think it's a good fold, and I would call all my suited hands, I guess.
Yeah, 23K pay jump as well, and Mark is on the chopping block here as 6 left, and he is short. Ace Jack suited. Chip leader gets the best hand. He's got the most chips. And no one's going to want to get too involved right now, right? Mark's super short, and chip leader going to have a good opportunity to kind of keep chipping up, raising maybe some uncontested takedowns, maybe some tight folds. As even here we see the button with King 7 suited. Sort of a daunting task to want to open and play at the chip leader here, who can really just put you in the blender and shove wide and make you not want to call off. So let's see if he does go for the min raise here, or even a limp potentially. But I think either way, yeah, just kind of realizes what's happening. And this is another reason why being chip leader get to benefit a lot. And here, Russian going to try to enter in with the 7 king, and he does. 7-8 flops the gut shot. 1,000 watching. Appreciate you guys. Last show of the new year. We will have a show next Tuesday. 1:45 Eastern. Special guest again. Wishing everyone a happy new year. Won't see you before then. Appreciate the thumbs up. We have a giveaway on my Twitter, Jeff Gross Poker. If you go to the pinned tweet, that is a live $50 giveaway. Get that over to you. Also have a couple other giveaways rocking right now. And we do have a $50 or $100 depending on who wins today with my players versus Sam. We have a dinner on it. Sam, what kind of food do you like? Where do you like to go eat? Give me a genre.
I don't eat too much meat myself. So if you're a big meat lover, we have to renegotiate, or it's going to take a little bit longer to find a nice place. But yeah, I'm just into everything besides seafood myself.
Okay.
And I can eat meat sometimes, so I can make like an exception for you. But as long as it's not seafood,
I love a lot of food,
I'm happy.
so no worries. I'm flexible to go to anywhere. Actually, I was in Austria. I stayed there for maybe a month and a half. Had a lot of good food. There was a Thai place downstairs where we rented Airbnb, and that was, I forget the name of the place, but it was very good. And I like all
have
kinds of
Wiener
food.
Schnitzel?
Yes, of course. Had a lot of that, and my son loved that too. He was 2.5 at the time, and we had some good food and very nice place. Austria, really impressed with the with the
Nice.
with the whole the entire setup there was very, very cool. Very high standard of living, very clean,
Was
very
it
nice.
Vienna that you visited, or
Yep,
which part of Austria did you go to?
yep. Vienna. What about where are you located?
I'm currently on the other side of Austria, in more in the Alps, in the mountains, and but I'm gonna move to Vienna pretty soon, in like most likely in like 4 months, latest after the summer. So yeah, it's just everybody's there, and I think it's a beautiful city, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right, well, pure gonna open up here and the ace three off. Wow, goes for it there, takes it, says, hey, I'm not worried about the 23 grand. I just believe this is the best hand. Also, could force some bigger folds, right? Pure gonna realize he should be a little tighter there. So does get the benefit of maybe getting Pure to lay down potentially a stronger ace or some other hands. So nice pickup there. Radoja been patient, gonna find a pure hand. Ace queen off. Got the best hand. Eight. What was that? 8 times 5.5, 6 blinds. And Chris Rudolph doesn't think too long with the king queen. Takes it down. Radoja hanging in there. Another tricky spot for Jack Queen suited. Pretty hand, but situationally a little bit dangerous. But that's a lot of hand on the button, folded too. And he is going to go ahead and min raise. And this is, again, sort of the exact kind of hand where Samu, or your Samu, where our friend can be aggressive here. And he does take it. And if you're from Kazakhstan, you hate that. That's a tough result right there. But got to open that hand, right? I mean, I guess you could limp maybe, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna have shoves on the button there probably because there's a certain hand class, also Queen Jack suited maybe in there sometimes, that just is very interested in realizing equity and not facing aggression from the big stack and not necessarily playing against the big stack. So maybe like a hand like low suited aces, some suited broadways, some offsuit ace X, like hands that still perform well against calling range if called. And also interesting facing the big blind three bet because you're up against such a polarized range, where he's most likely gonna three bet a lot of ace X, king X, some queen lows maybe as well. So queen jack suited unblocks quite a bunch of those hands and still performs okay against the value range, I guess. But yeah, it's very interesting exploitatively how wide you want to go there as a four bet jam against such an aggressive opponent like Thomas. So yeah, overall interesting hand, but Thomas takes it down.
Yeah, Pure going to get the walk here as well. And 2.2 million, 7 million now for a chip leader start today. And again, it was pretty tight, the stack sizes. So not like a huge, I think he had like 2.2 or 3 million. So he's done a good job to chip up. A7 off for Mark, 40, 80K, 8 big, 640, 640K would be 8 big blinds. I mean, pretty nice hand to get here. And he will not have a calling hand behind him. So good timing there. Part of the poker game is timing. And 1,000 all in
One
all.
of the
100
most
you hit the
important
thumbs up.
things in
Appreciate
life.
that. Yes, it's true. Very true. All right, Radoja, don't sleep on him. He's dangerous too. He's at 1 million all of a sudden, really tied up with Chris Rudolph here. King 7 suited gets the better hand, King Jack to fold in there, a suited hand, but against the under the gun razor. And now a 4, look at this, 4 stacks right about 1 million. So we have an ICM clinic at the moment. Pure with 2.2, he's loving it, being double those guys, saying, hey, I'm happy. I'd love to sign for second for 225. This gap all the way down to 83,000. So, I mean, this is really shaping up for a what do you call our chip leader Thomas to really take advantage of this, right? I mean, he can leverage the situation a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Jack 8, King Queen. So doesn't put the pressure on here, and it still has the best hand. Are you surprised that he let him? Was this was a limp and complete and a check?
No, not too surprised to be honest. I just think King Queen. I mean, King Queen has a lot of hands that limb dominated. It also performs probably pretty well in the ISO node, but you're gonna face some aggression from a couple A6 hands that you also perform really well against, and you don't necessarily want to face that aggression. Couple limp jams probably as well, so I'm not too surprised. I think it's a very reasonable check back.
All right, well, welcome everyone to hit the thumbs up. That'll be the first part of the giveaway. We'll get the keyword out along with that. Hit the thumbs up, then we're going to announce a $50 or $100 ticket winner for GGPoker. 50 will be a cash ticket, 100 will be a tournament ticket. Who do we got? Let's update this. So I have Radoja, I have Rudolph, you have, oh, I have Argentina too, right? Do I get pure? You have, I
Yes.
believe, the chip leader, Thomas. You have Russia and Kazakhstan. Is that right? Are we 3 and 3?
I'm pretty sure that's correct, yes.
Sounds right. And you got about what, 7? Yeah, you got 9 million to 4 million. So looking a little bit better for you, but hey, long way to go. Long way to go. 7-8 suited. No mercy. Just rips it in. And I've got a feeling, I just think based on our player, this guy, his way of playing, his way of thinking, how we've seen him play, I think he's going to really accelerate this and put a lot of pressure on people. Here with 7s. I mean, this is kind of one of the textbook hands. Yeah, just ship it. Oh, why not? Timing's so huge in these too, right? If you can get a few away with some, you chip people down, you get in a good spot, you can really start doing a ton of damage. Of course, if you just run into pure gets kings, right, or something, and you double him up, and he has 4, and then you have 5 or whatever, it's it can go the other way. But at the moment, all the million stacks have been getting dwindled a bit here, and he has taken a few spots where he's just picking up chips and jacks. What a wake up! Small blind, big blind. Thinking about what's best. Do I want to induce? Do I want to be tricky? Probably a small raise. Yeah, don't think all in makes sense. Limping a little too, need a little more maybe to try to trap, right? Kings or jacks overcard's going to come, be scary. And look at that. He played the jack so perfectly. They just gave it to him one more time. Back to back jacks. That is not easy to get. And he's on the button this time.
Probably similar outcome this time, I guess.
Yeah, picks it up though. Important, right? It's an important part.
Super important.
Part of the tournament to chip up. Go to 1.2 versus 800. Big difference. And
also a spot where Thomas probably wants to play very close to all the hands in his range, and he's gonna shove a lot, and some hands that are like the top range he probably wants to induce, and also some hands that he's not comfortable with shoving. And yeah, this has to jam the ace 8-4. I think 8-4 is like right there.
Ace high fold there again. Mark just I think thinking he has a little too much to call off. He'd rather take his spot, be first in, or have a more dominating situation. So again, really knowing the player too, Mark probably knows as good as anyone. Look at that. He's going to wait and get aces. And the only thing is no one has anything. 2 of the worst hands in poker behind him. I'm just thinking, can he limp? Can he min raise? Probably min raise. I mean, it's just also it looks so strong. So maybe does he just, I think you have to give a chance for someone to make a mistake, but I don't know. I mean, at the same time, I guess he just realizes there's not, he doesn't have much of a min raise or a limp range off that stack size. So I maybe just realizing the best bet is to be disguised there. And if someone wakes up with something decent, may call off. But what do you think there? Does he have another option, or is that just because it would be too fishy to do anything but shove?
It's interesting. I think all the A6 just jam. So if he has a min raising range, it's super polarized as well, and he probably has to draw it from some King X that are just too weak to jam. Maybe something like King 7 off sometimes, and like that. So I think aces might still be able to raise in theory. But yeah, if he feels like he doesn't have a raising range there, non all in, I can see it being fine. But I personally would have raised, I think, non all in.
Well, he's going to wake up in a bad spot. Ace 10 to ace king. Needs to get lucky now on a flop where both are going to need to not want to pair their card because that would make a straight for the other. So he is going to need a king and a king only on the river. And that is not that. That is a 9, and that is GG. 5 left. We'll cue the giveaway soon. And we will do that around 4 as we see a knockout. And the blinds are up. Good game. Mark Radoja, again, very accomplished player. Going to see him step out in 6th place, add to his resume. Everyone here guaranteed 6 figures, 5 remain, play to a winner, little pressure off, and 9-10 suited going to rip it. And King Jack, 10 blinds, pretty close.
Yeah, feels close.
Does call, does go ahead and make the call, and he is going to go and see the bad news of a 9 on the flop. Still some more cards to come. Needs a king or jack on the river. Also, we see a double up for Kazakhstan, and it is clean. A 10, 2 pair. It's good. 2.2 million. That's another important pot. So everyone kind of evening out here, where Chris Rudolph's turn now with 10 blinds, ace 7 off. He has got 9 blinds under the gun, decides to min raise. And one of the powerful things about this is you do get some other better hands to fold, such as the ace 8, ace 9. There it is. Ace 9 off goes in the muck, and Chris is going to go ahead and, I believe, pick this up. Let's see. Based on how Pierre's playing, hasn't really been defending much, although could change. Does fold. Chris with the million in the blind now. Ace Jack. And oh, wow. That is going to be a snap call from Chris. And here we go. Could get interesting here all of a sudden, where Queen Jack versus Ace Jack. Ace Jack in the lead. Needs to fade the river. 3 outs, 1 time, 6.7%. And it is clean. No face card. The slow peel. We know that is not a face card. No queen available. And look at this. All of a sudden, 2 million, 2.2, 2.2, 1.8. So we have went from Thomas a runaway to everyone sort of in the mix here with 20 blinds roughly, and a whole new game. So this has been another very interesting breakout to close out the GG Million. Of course, what do we expect? We want to see something new, something different. We've seen a bit of a different breakout today, and we are going to get to see 20 blind poker for our 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th stacks about even here.
I mean, Chris going from 1 blind to 2nd in chips is pretty impressive. You also have to mention that again.
It is. The guy's a force. He's also trying to keep a new champion off the GG Millions, because he has won one before. I don't believe anyone else here has, at least not since the last 2 seasons. We're in season 2023, episode 34. And yeah, we're gonna see if we'll have a new champion, although Chris is in the mix now. All right, 7's gonna limp. Jack deuce off, an inviting hand for a re-raise. Doesn't get the bait. Still a pretty good flop when you limp 7s. No over. 6, 6, 3, 2 clubs. Just kind of closing his eyes. Give some rope here.
Jack deuce, interesting. I think that hand with those suits might be able to bet sometimes on the flop. Gets a lot of better hands to fold already, I think. But decides to check. 7's probably going for a value bet, I guess. Decides to check it.
Well, that is, look at this, 2 million across the board. I mean, this is really tight now.
It's also interesting for Thomas now, because once he loses an all-in to any player, basically, that player goes to being the chip leader, which is also something to consider as the big stack when you are attacking these middling stacks. So yeah, very
Yeah,
interesting
just
to
look at
see.
what we're playing for. You can see the difference between fifth and first. 189,000. That's a lot of buy-ins. 10K buy-in, about 19 buy-in, roughly 18 buy-in difference. So lot to play for. Of course, the glory of the title. What do you think about trophies, Sam? We've talked about this. Patrick Leonard and I had a chat. I've always said this. I think they should do trophies for some tournaments and, you know, online, like at the end of the year, you know, say, hey, you won 6 tournaments this year, and here on January, you know, Christmas time, rip it out, and then you get something in your trophy case. I think I think it's kind of fun. And especially some of these are big prestigious events. I mean, you have to draw the line, right? You can't, there's so many tournaments. You can't just send a trophy out for every single tournament, but I think there should be, you know, I think it should qualify for some.
I agree 100%. I think trophies are one of the nicest things in general. And I think for special events, there 100% should be trophies. I also feel like that's something that other sites are doing well, and which also makes some tournaments feel more special, because especially there's a lot of players who just play for glory, play for prestige, play for the competition rather than the money. And having trophies is something extra motivating. So yeah, I 100% agree, and I think trophies should be something that all the sites should have to a certain degree for certain tournaments.
Well said. We need to clip this and put this in the files. I think that it's, again, it's, if you're GG, you're the other sites, like, look, you could say, oh, well, you know, it's a huge undertaking, but really, if you, I think I like that the idea of waiting, though, right? You don't need, if you win the trophy today, you don't need it next week, but like, let the year go by, and then you get them packaged in the mail. Maybe you got 2, maybe you got 7, maybe you have 20. You get it one time, save the shipping. You know, the trophies don't have to be crazy elaborate. And look at this, my man. How does he know? The Kazakhstan guy's been on point, dialed in type, chooses a nice selection, makes a move, and then the A7 off. Like, how, that's spidey senses right there, right? I mean, if I am Thomas, I'm giving him credit. I just be like, you know what, man, you've been pretty solid. Like, I would give that up there. I think that was impressive.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I think suited hands are preferred in these situations, but also very dependent on how you perceive your opponent. If you think he's overdoing it a little bit, all of these hands become profitable. So yeah, very nice awareness of Thomas in that spot, and finds the 4-bet jam with the A7 off.
And here we go. The click out of position, pretty strong. If you got 5s, this is kind of annoying. You're like, man, I'm getting a price, but 8.5 to 1 to flop a set. I'm probably dominated. Could be flipping. Do I want to like rip it in? This guy just 3-bet folded. Could he really be doing it again? And, you know, I don't know. I just, it looks too inviting to me. But peeling also seems crazy, right? I don't think you can really peel to hit the set. So it's very small raise out of position. Well, going to pick his chips right back up. Chris Rudolph, 2.2 million, is in second. It is tight. Going to open it up. Thomas, 10-5 off.
He's thinking about it.
What if he just slammed it? Not even 3-bet, just the full enchilada. I mean, he is thinking for sure about something. 10-5 though. One of the just a complete airball hand. Gives it up.
Time bank's also pretty even. That was something that I like. I ran out of time in the heads up last week, which is also something you need to keep an eye on all the time. And in these spots where you have, or in at least easy spots, you should probably just snap back or act fast, and really make sure you use your time wisely.
Well, Queen 8 suited. couple suited hands here, blind on blind. Thomas, who is interested in getting involved in all situations, though, on the button here, 5-7. Let's see. I mean, he's you can tell it pains him to fold. He is going to get out of the way. Pure with a pretty looking hand here, but wow, going to shove in. I mean, Chris, snap calls, just maybe ICM you'd have to think about a little, but says, hey, I got the best hand. I know it. I'm calling. I'm ahead. Fades the flop. Drawing dead. That is to be drawing dead in the turn. Ace-7 suited if there's 10-8 diamonds versus spades. That is a good spot, good result. Chris, though, from 1 blind to 2 of 4, ladies and gentlemen, and a force ready to go, trying to keep someone else off the GG Million champion list, as he is now in 4 mil stack. And I believe it's Chris versus the world for player-wise for our bet for the 50 versus 100 for the audience. And I know we are an underdog, but hey, I'll take it. Chris has got some game. So you got what, 5.5, 5.8, basically 6-8. Yeah, like 9 to 4, 10 mil. But let's see if Chris gets heads up. I think there's a shot. Wow, what a comeback.
Yeah, very impressive. Also something Thomas doesn't like to see necessarily. Chris probably one of the guys he's trying to get out of the tournament from the start on. So yeah, very nice chip up and comeback from Chris. Couple interesting hands here. I think ace-8 suited is a really nice hand to 3-bet here. Still unblocks all the opens from the cutoff. And yeah.
Ooh.
This time it's not gonna get through.
Run along, he's giving himself the gift there. And we are in a spot now with 4 remain. Going to cue the giveaway soon. Nines to ace-3, and Chris maybe decides, look at this, he's going to go for it. And if you are Thomas, 4-handed nines, big hand, but man, Chris just gets some chips. You can see he doesn't waste time. He's ready to rock and play poker the second he gets chips, and of course not going to be calling it off here with the ace-3 off, and Thomas will extend his lead, but Chris still in second. As 6-8 suited going to go to work. Do the giveaway. Once we get the 3-handed, I'll cue the giveaway, guys. Again, hit the thumbs up. That's the first part. Second part's going to be a keyword. We'll put that in to the chat here, and I will give you again the Twitter. Jeff Bros Poker tweet is my pin tweet is the giveaway for $50 cash. That's out of my pocket. GG going to give $50 or $100 ticket today. Also, let me see. I'll find the link here.
Yeah. We have an all-in situation.
Aces. A 9 suited. Good spot. Very clean. Needs runners. 8. Nope. Drawn dead. Saw that. I believe Josh Beckley in the main event 2015. Aces to 10-9 suited. I think he was all in and held. And that is a clean aces there. Going to get it done. Going to get that done. That is a good spot to win in 3-handed. We'll get the giveaway up here. And let me put the link. What's up, Dennis, in the chat. So good to see you, my friend. Above giveaway. All right, so keyword. Let's cue the keyword. It's going to be GGPoker Samu. And then insert your GGPoker username. Putting that in. If you don't have GG, gift it to a friend. I'm sure you know someone that plays in a region, and someone who has an account. So you can gift it to them, share it with them, do whatever you want. But we are down 2-3, and that is a shove. Ace-3 gets ace-5 to old and up to 8.7 million. Kazakhstan with the at least third place finish, some real money there. And king, queen, ace 10. Wow, this could be over in a snap. King, queen, ace 10, ace high. Needs to fade the... Wow, king, queen is in a world of hurt here. Oh, diamond, though. Hey, wait a second. Nope. Clean. 4 of hearts, and that's how it's been going for our chip leader. Basically, wire to wire. He has got... You have won the dinner. The audience will be getting a $50 giveaway. That is now queued. You can type that in. You got to hit the thumbs up. Let us know where you're watching from. I see the hearts. People are loving the show. Love the energy. And 225 or 289, we are playing for $63,300 between first and second. And there is a big gap between the first and second as the money gets put on the table. And it's Kazakhstan versus the world right now, as I believe we said, well, Moldova, if I'm not mistaken, is the country. It looks Romanian in the flag, but I think it is actually Moldova. Just plugged it in, and it does seem to check out. Audience is on point. You guys are rocking today. Appreciate it. Sam has been very gracious with his time, and he is taken away from his hourly as he is crushing online, crushing live, and he is taking the day with us here today. So we do appreciate that. And again, you can give him a follow on the socials, although he's not a social media producer per se, but he does update things now and again, and you guys can give him a follow, as our friend is gonna get you guys a $50 ticket. That is what you guys have won today. I'll pick the winner here shortly, and we will choose the Twitter winner on my pinned tweet for $50 as well. Deuces, 5-10 suited. Deuces.
Like 20 blinds, deuces, I think, are one of the few hands, if not the only, that fly in. But yeah, 2 very playable hands here.
Yeah, 5's ace 4. The 5, I mean, the ace just comes right away. All right. Well, 12 million to 1.5. Not over till it's over. How was your heads up match when you won the 2.7 million just a few weeks ago in the Bahamas? Did you have the chip lead? Was it tight? How was that battle? Oh my goodness, hold that thought.
I'm gonna touch on it afterwards. Let's see this hand first.
And Kings, he just calls. Wow. I mean, not that it really matters, right? These were tier one, and this is one of the biggest matchups we've seen on the GG Million. And I mean, this is just so brutal. Would have gone in anyway. Would have flopped 118 to 1. He is drawing to runner boat, and a king is gone as well. So he's going to need the old 4-4, old 8-8, queen, or the 1 out king plus a board pair. It is very thin here, getting raised. And this is music to our guys' ears. Thomas, who has just had a dream day today. And wow, this is quite the final hand, I would say. Very safe to say. I mean, I guess, okay, here we go. 0%. That is 100 to 0 on the turn. Good game all around. He said it before the cards are over, and the king did hit on the river. I mean, that is a snapshot. Screenshot, share that. That is quite the final hand. Top set versus nut flush draw, ace king to kings, and Thomas Santerni is your champion. Rocking the Ben CB Ascend champagne glass. Shout out to Ben and Ascend in the esports program there, and giving him a nice kudos. But Sam, I appreciate the time. I want to ask you about today, but yeah, tell me real quick. I want everyone to realize this is your GG Million champion from the Bahamas, the 25K 10 mil guaranteed. Got 13 mil. He took it down, I believe 530 something runners. We played together. I won a big hand off you, but you went the distance. I min cashed, I think, roughly, and you won 2.7 million. So how was your heads up battle? Tell us, how was that experience, and what was the stacks like when that started?
I think I just...
Oh, his headphones may have died. Well, listen, as he gets situated, and he's gonna do.
Hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me. First of all, it's been an honor. And my heads up battle was just an insane grind. It took forever to briefly touch on it, but yeah, it was a grind and was also a fun experience, as heads up is super personal. I feel like you stare at the guy for 3 hours, you play every hand, especially with big blind ante, you can't fold a single hand. So it's a battle. It was the grind, but super fun and a great experience. And it also I also improved there a lot. I feel like having that experience going forward. So yeah, was a grind. And again, thanks for having me. It was a great honor to be here on the show.
Well, I know you watch normally, and we appreciate you coming on again. You're 26 years old, bright future ahead. You seem like you got your head on your shoulders, and wish you all the luck, all the success in the future. Guys at home, everyone, again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll be back next Tuesday at 1:45 Eastern to kick off the new year with the GG Millions. And again, this is number 34 of season 2023. We'll see you again, and give Sam a follow. Thank you for the time. Safe travels, enjoy your holidays, and the best of luck. We'll see you on, I'm sure, many future final tables for the GG Million again, as you got second just last week. So again, thanks again. Appreciate you guys at home. Enjoy your holiday. We'll see you next week.